Namaste. Happy Durgashtami to all of you. Thank you for joining me today on this 8th day of Navratri to listen to the stories from the Devi Mahatmyam, which is a body of 700 shlokas, also called the Durga Saptashati. Sapta meaning 7, Shatihi meaning 100. So 700 shlokas sung in the praise of Durga, Devi. The whole Mahatmyam, Devi Mahatmyam, is part of this large body of works called the Markandeya Purana, which was written by Rishi Vedavyasa. It tells of the stories that Rishi Markandeya is telling his student. The Devi Mahatmyam is 700 shlokas in which Rishi Markandeya is telling the story of what Rishi Medhas told Raja Surata and the merchant. He's telling all those stories to his student. Now, we have seen until now, Rishi Medhas was telling Raja Surata about how Yoga Maya or Maya, who is the power behind Vishnu, comes and makes sure that Vishnu is able to defeat Madhu and Kaithaba. And then how with all the lights from all the devas springs this wonderful figure, Devi. She comes and she destroys Mahishasura. She defeats him and brings peace to the whole universe. And then she promises the devas that she would always be there whenever they need it. And as time goes by, Shumbha and Nishumbha are two Asura brothers who take over the whole universe. They have a war with the devas, they defeat the devas, and once again chaos reigns all over the universe. Surya's work is being done by Shumbha and Nishumbha's people. So is Chandra's work. So is the work of the Maruts and of Varuna and all nature. All the work is done by the Asuras and nothing by the Devas at this point. So, it is time for Shumbha and Nishumbha to be destroyed. And in order to destroy them, Devi had to defeat some other Asuras who were very, very, very dangerous, and not just that, very strong and really, really evil. In order to destroy Chanda and Munda, Devi had frowned, really frowned with anger, and from her forehead there was a manifestation of Kali, the dark form, a form with sunken cheeks, with a garland of skull heads, with a staff with a skull on its head, who walked in a crunching manner, who would devour blood. She was there just to remove all darkness. She, Kali, comes from the forehead of Devi as a form to remove darkness from the world. And she had killed Chanda and Munda. And then after that, the real terror of Raktabija had to be destroyed. And for that, all the Devas sent their Shaktis. A Shakti, an inner strength. The inner strength of each Deva comes out to help Devi. Aindri from Indra, Brahmini from Brahma, Vaishnavi of Vishnu, Maheshwari of Shiva, Ambika Kaumari of Kumara or Kartikeya, and so many more. They all come and help Devi. And they are the army of Devi, just these Shaktis. And they had killed this evil Raktabija, who had a boon that any drop of his blood, if it falls on the ground, from there would spring this terrible Raktabija. Yet another Raktabija, who would be even more stronger and more evil than the original Raktabija. In order to defeat him, Kali would have taken her hands, and whenever any Shakti has wounded Raktabija and a drop of blood falls, she makes sure to catch hold of that blood. She makes sure that that blood does not drop on the ground. And that way, Devi and the Shaktis are able to destroy Raktabija also. That's the story that we have finished until now. Raja Surata and the merchant were listening. They were listening with complete concentration and awe. They were awestruck by this grand story of bravery by Devi. And Raja Surata says, Rishivar, Guruvar, what happens next? I am sure that Shumbha and Nishumba must have been so angry. What did they do now? Rishi Medha says, Yes, Raja. Yes, Raja. Shumbha and Nishumba were really angry. They were not terrified because they were very brave. They were very brave. Evil, yes, but brave, yes, too. So, they stood up, both of them. Shumbha was so angry, it seemed as though it was a dark cloud that has come across as he stood up like a mountain, like a huge mountain. And his anger brought about this cloud of sadness, scaredness across the whole world there. And Nishumba along with him stood up. He was just as bad and as angry. The world was now worried. What would happen now? Shumba and Nishumba know that this Devi has to be destroyed, because if she is not, then they would be destroyed. Devi had already asked them once. She had sent Shiva as a messenger and asked them to give up, to let Indra and all the other gods back into their rightful places. She had asked them once more, and she had warned them that if they didn't listen, they would be destroyed. And so, Shumba and Nishumba know that Devi can destroy, just as she has destroyed all the others. They could be destroyed too. So, what to do? They had to destroy her. Devas are hearing from above. All the Devas are seeing this. And they are singing praises and victory to thee, victory to thee. Devi ki jai, Devi ki jai. And Shumbha and Nishumba on their chariots start going with their whole main army. And the army has so many chariots, and not just chariots, it has horses, asuras on horses, asuras on elephants, asuras on bulls, asuras on donkeys, and asuras just walking too, with all sorts of weapons, discuses, clubs, maces, spears, tridents, everything. They are coming, and Devi and Kali and all the other Shaktis are waiting. And they see in front of them is Shumbha, Nishumba and the rest. And Shumba goes, stop! Just stop, Devi! Fight with us now. And they start fighting. In the fight, the Devis start throwing their discuses, their chakras, their spears. And so does Nishumba and Shumba. And now Nishumba is directly fighting with Devi. He throws his chakra and that is split into two. He throws his spear and that is split into two. And now he has a sword. And with his sword, he strikes the lion, the head of the lion. The lion is the vehicle of Devi. She sits on the lion. And the lion's head is hit. Seeing this, the Devi gets angry and she just takes her trident and she takes her Trishula, that's the trident, and smashes the sword, cuts that sword of Nishumba in half. And then his shield has 8 moons on it, and she just spears that. And the shield just goes out of his hand and he has nothing, and she just hits him hard. And when she hits him hard, he falls, he faints unconscious. Seeing Nishumba fallen, Shumba gets angry and he comes at me and says, oh, and he starts fighting. And again the Devi and he fight really, really, really hard. Now Shumba is fighting and he fights, he sends his dart and his club and everything. And then finally Devi gets so angry and she just splits his club in half and spears him. And he falls unconscious. And as Shumba is falling unconscious, Nishumba wakes up again. Nishumba gets up again and he comes rushing at Devi, so upset. And when he does, Devi just takes him once and takes her spear and just hits him right in the chest. And when she does that, is a sound, stop, Devi, stop. Out from his chest comes another head. Another head of Nishumba. She laughs so hard and she takes her sword and just swipes that head off. And Nishumba is finally destroyed. Shumba gets up. Oh, so angry. Really angry. A lot of asuras have been killed. So many daityas. Daityas is another word for asuras. So many asuras are killed. And the lion and Kali and all the other Shaktis are just sweeping and killing of all the. And Shumba is heartbroken. His brother, his beloved brother is dead. But he doesn't stop. And he looks at her and he says, what? You are going to fight me alone? You are so many of you. You have such a huge army. And I am alone. What is this? What kind of fairness is this? It doesn't matter. You are not brave. You have a huge army. Devi looks at him. She is this mother full of love. Even for this evil son of hers, she has a lot of love. And she looks at him and says, Shumba, this is not an army. These are all just parts of me. Everyone, all of these are just a part of me. They're all part of me. Come Kali, she says. Come Kali, come Chamundi. Chamundi becomes one of her. Come Ishwari. Ishwari becomes a part of her. Come Aindri. Aindri becomes a part of her. Come Brahmani. Brahmani becomes a part of her. So does Vaishnavi. And all the other Shaktis just get into her. She is all alone with all her 18 arms seated on the lion. It's just one Devi. All the Shaktis, every Devi was just a part of her, just manifestations of her. Remember, from her frown on the forehead had come Kali. From her, she just looked, had come Kaushiki. And these are the inner strengths from all the Devas. Aindri, Vaishnavi, Ishwari. They're all just the light, the inner strength, because she is that inner strength. From each one, she is the inner strength. Parts of her goes a strength in each of the Devas, in each of the Asuras too. She is part of everything. That's what it shows here in this chapter. She withdraws all the Shaktis, all the manifestations back into her. And she is just alone. And she says, come now, Shumba, let's fight. And then they start fighting. They start fighting really hard. It's like he throws a discus, she cuts it in two. He throws his spear, she splits it. He throws his sword, she splits it. Everything. Nishumba surrounds her with arrows. She just takes all her hands and grabs them and powders them to dust. Nishumba is a brave warrior. He catches hold of her and he just pushes her up in the sky. And as she goes, he goes up. And then they're up in the sky, they are dueling. It's one-on-one, hands on hands, wrestling. Just with their hands, bare hands, they're fighting. She slaps him, he slaps her. Just a fighting. And the Devas are just looking, says Rishi Medhas. Raja Surata, the Devas were just looking, awestruck. My God, they're up in the sky, suspended. The two of them are battling so close to one another, battling, fighting, wrestling. What is going to happen? The Devas again. Devi ki jai ho, Devi ki jai ho. They are just singing. They are just shouting and trying to cheer her on. But she doesn't need any cheering. She is just continuing what she has to do. She has to defeat Shumba. They're fighting and then suddenly she says, you know what, this is enough. I've had enough of fighting with you. And she takes him and just throws him down. Shumba just starts falling down towards the earth. And as he hits the earth, he jumps up again. He jumps up again, going towards her, and she takes her spear now finally, and she just throws it at him with such force that he is just pinned down to the mountains there, lying lifeless. And thus, Shumba is also dead. Shumba and Nishumba, the two Rakshasas, were being tyrants to the entire universe, are dead. Along with them, all the other asuras, all the other bad, evil asuras, Raktabija, Chanda, Munda, all of them destroyed. The Devas throw flowers from wherever they are on her, shower flowers on Devi. And everybody starts becoming so happy. The flowers start blooming. Showers are drizzling softly. The winds are blowing softly. The Maruts are happy. all the lakes and the rivers start little waves, and the trees, the leaves on the trees start swaying in happiness. The deers come out, and so do the fish in the water. And all the humans, the sage rishis and all are saying, Jai Mata Di. With that, we end chapters 9 and 10 of the Devi Mahatmyam. Chapters 11 and 12 are praises to the Devi, where the all the gods sing praises to Devi, saying that she is the one and only, that she is the creator. She is the power behind Vishnu. She is the power behind the creation of the universe. She is the power behind the destruction of the universe. She is the sound. She is the silence between the sound. She is everything. And then she says, in order to be happy, in order for everything to be okay, pray to me with concentration and I will be there. This is the Falasruti of the whole Devi Mahatmyam, chapter 12, where she says, pray to me with full concentration and goodness, and I will be there to help you. I will be there to take care of every epidemic that bothers you. Pray to me with full concentration and listen to my story whenever you can, and you shall be happy. Okay. With that, we end the Devi Mahatmyam. Thank you for joining me for all these 8 days and listening to the story of the Devi. Let us sing her praises by just saying one shloka. I will end the Devi Mahatmyam with this one shloka. सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोऽस्तु ते नारायणी नमोऽस्तु ते नारायणी नमोऽस्तु ते नमस्ते.